All right, so picture this. You're flying on a commercial airplane with a couple dozen passengers, maybe even taking a nap mid-flight, and next thing you know, everything goes sideways. That's plane. And from the jump, this movie wastes no time getting to the chaos. So let's break it down. We start off meeting Brody Torrance, played by Gerard Butler. He's a commercial airline pilot. Pretty normal guy, ex-RAF, calm under pressure. But he's got this flight from Singapore to Tokyo on New Year's Eve, which sounds routine, except there's a storm on the radar and not many passengers on board. There's also a last-minute addition, a prisoner being extradited, Louis Gaspare, played by Mike Coulter. He's in handcuffs, guarded by one officer. That's all we know about him for now. So the plane takes off, and the early scenes really set the tone. There's a co-pilot named Dell, who handles the tech side of things, and you also meet a few passengers, including some influencers, a dad and daughter duo, a quiet businessman, and of course, the crew. But the vibe shifts fast. Midway through the flight, they hit that huge storm. Lightning actually strikes the plane, knocking out the avionics, pretty much everything electric. And Brody has to manually glide the aircraft. No GPS, no radar, no communication. They're flying blind. Fuel's low. This part is shot tight, claustrophobic, and very real. Brody and Deal make a decision. Emergency landing. They spot what looks like land and go for it. It's rough. Trees smash through the fuselage. The plane hits the jungle hard. But somehow, miraculously, almost everyone survives. One flight attendant dies, and the marshal guarding the prisoner is killed too. But the rest, alive, scattered, but alive. Here's the twist. They've crash-landed on Jolo Island in the Philippines. But this isn't just any island. It's lawless, controlled by militias and rebel groups. And the second Brody steps out to scout help, things get worse. He and Gaspare, who's been uncuffed because, well, it's survival mode now, go looking for a radio or a village or anything. And they do find something. Meanwhile, back at the crash site, the passengers try to stay put and stay calm. But soon, the rebels find them, guns drawn, yelling in a language nobody understands. They take some of the passengers hostage. It happens fast, brutal, and with zero mercy. The plane's no longer a safe space. It's been overrun. Now it's a rescue mission. Brody and Gaspare escape the ambush, and Brody finally gets to a broken-down maintenance shack with a phone line. He calls his airline's headquarters. Back in the States, a corporate crisis team gets activated. They bring in a guy named Scarsdale. He's ex-Special Forces, now in private security. This dude doesn't waste time. He's like, get me satellite eyes and a mercenary team. Because they know once the hostages are taken, it's Ransom City. These rebels are going to post videos, make demands, and it's only a matter of time before someone gets killed on camera. While Scarsdale organizes the rescue squad, Brody and Gaspare head back toward the crash site. They're outnumbered, low on weapons, but they know the passengers won't survive without help. And here's where we see Gaspare shine. This guy's got a past. He was French Foreign Legion. He knows combat. And he starts taking out rebels silently, one by one. Brody's no slouch either. There's a brutal scene where he fights a rebel in hand-to-hand combat inside the plane. It's gritty, long, and ugly. No flashy moves, just survival instinct. Meanwhile, the passengers being held hostage are moved to a village compound surrounded by armed guards. One of them, a dad, tries to resist and gets executed in front of everyone. No mercy. The rebels start filming a ransom video, as predicted. And back in the U.S., that footage gets intercepted. That's the green light for Scarsdale's team to deploy. The rescue squad arrives on the island in a slick, fast-paced drop-in. These are ex-military, black ops level dudes, and they don't play. They parachute in, link up with Brody and Gaspare, and start the rescue op. What follows is this night vision assault on the village compound. Gunfire everywhere. Rebels dropping, passengers scrambling. It's chaotic, terrifying, and exactly the kind of climax you'd expect. But they do it. They rescue everyone who's still alive. Now the final challenge, getting off the island. And there's only one way. The original plane is still technically intact, just damaged. So Brody says, screw it, we're flying. He and Deal prep the aircraft while the mercenaries hold off more incoming rebels. You've got this wild last stand with machine guns, sniper fire, and the rebels throwing everything they've got at the group. One of the mercenaries dies covering the retreat, but Brody powers through. Engines roaring, landing gear busted, no tower clearance. He gets that plane airborne again, barely avoiding trees and gunfire. There's a huge sigh of relief as they lift off, everyone inside shaking and crying and holding each other. They've done it. Somehow they're escaping. Now here's where the emotion hits. And right before they touch down at the next island for emergency landing, they land safely. The passengers are met with medics, military, press, but Brody, he just walks off to the side, exhausted, drained, but alive. You feel the weight of it all on his face. He was just trying to get through one more flight. And instead, he survived something straight out of a war zone. The credits roll, and you realize this movie wasn't just about action. It was about leadership, trust, redemption. Brody faced something no commercial pilot trains for. Gaspare, the convict, turned out to be the backbone of survival. And the passengers, average folks with no skills or weapons, made it because two men refused to give up. That's Plane, scene by scene, full of tension, sweat, bullets, and quiet heroism. It's not flashy or futuristic. No aliens or monsters, just human instinct versus pure danger. And that's what makes it so gripping. It's one flight you definitely won't forget.